Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Jenna. I have been on Mounjaro or Zepbound for the past 6 months and had amazing success. I have lost over 60 pounds, which I am thrilled with. This medication has changed my life for the better. I have more energy, my health is better. It has changed my life in so many ways. Today, I just wanted to talk about um, who should be taking Mounjaro or Zepbound? Who Mounjaro or Zepbound is for? Mounjaro, as most of us know, was made for diabetics. And it has done amazing things for people's diabetes. It has kept their sugars in check. Most diabetics who have taken this medication, not all, but most, have said, this has improved my life dramatically. People have been able to get off insulin, just other medications that they were taking. And as we all know, there's a lot of things that on top of the diabetes can happen. There's with high blood sugars, you can have vascular injury, meaning like neuropathy in your feet, or it can cause blindness and all kinds of other horrible things. If you are a diabetic and your sugars are out of control for a long time, that can have serious implications for your health, your life. As time has gone on, they realized a side effect of these medications is people were losing a tremendous amount of weight. And so came everybody wanting America. I forget the statistics, but in America, we have a huge, enormous problem with obesity. And when people figured out that these medications could be used to help with weight loss, it blew up. And as everybody who's taking this medication knows, there is a shortage. And diabetics are unable to get their medication. I think everybody has heard, if you have been in a support group or on Reddit or on any of those things, you have heard someone with diabetes saying, leave Mounjaro for us. And if you are trying to lose weight, take Zepbound. We who are diabetic need this medication. We need it to live. We need it to continue being healthy. And I think there are two sides to that, to kind of that idea, excuse me. If you have diabetes and you have been giving yourself insulin and changing your diet and really, trying to get yourself to a better point with your A1C, and along comes this medication and you are having amazing success, and then all of a sudden you can't get your medication and you are forced to take something that's not as effective, something that has maybe terrible side effects for you, but you have to take something. You are, forced to take something. Even insulin, there's downsides to taking insulin all the time. So I can completely understand their frustration with seeing people taking this medication for weight loss when they're diabetic and are facing a lot of consequences from not getting their medication. And Zepbound was made for people trying to lose weight. What happened, I think, with the shortages, everybody switched over to Zepbound. Insurance companies started to say no more for Mounjaro. If you are not on it for diabetes, you need to switch over to Zepbound. But it created this huge shortage. of Zepbound, and Mounjaro sometimes is easier to find. But is it okay for somebody who is taking this for weight loss to take Mounjaro? The other side of that is we all know obesity has consequences of its own. You can develop diabetes, heart conditions, fatty liver. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But is it fair, if we're not at the point that we have diabetes, to take these medications away from people who are diabetic? I don't know. I mean, I know for me that my biggest fear is to backslide to where I was before I took this medication. I was 280 pounds. I couldn't even walk very far because I would get such lower back pain. I originally had, when I started my journey, I was taking Mounjaro and switched to Zepbound. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this in the beginning, but they are, which I'm sure everybody knows, the exact same medication, just marketed differently, FDA approved for different issues. So if someone can't find their Zepbound and they're going, okay, well, I can't find Zepbound, but this pharmacy has Mounjaro, and if I can pay out of pocket, just even for a couple months, I'm going to take it because I don't want to go backwards. And I understand that too. I don't want to move backwards. I don't want to go back to that person that I was, that person who had a low self-esteem and didn't have energy to keep up with their children, and just struggled with everything, struggled with even going out and being social, feeling like I was being judged by people, knowing how much this has done for my health. I don't want to backslide. And there's a lot of people, and then there's the other option of going to compounds. Some people don't want to do that. I have heard the stories, I'm sure you have, people getting ripped off, what's reputable, what's not, who should you be going to? You're going to a telehealth company. Some of them require more information and more background than others. Is it safe to take medication prescribed over the internet, and then, you're going to a pharmacy and it's a compounding pharmacy, roll of the dice who you're going to get? Is it a good pharmacy? I can completely understand people being apprehensive to go that route. And then your other option is going to a semaglutide, Wegovy, or Ozempic. But again, they've had their own issues with shortages. So it brings me to a point, even for myself, I have seen here firsthand that with this shortage, Mounjaro seems to be around a slightly more. I'm not saying you can go to every pharmacy and find your dose, but I do see slightly more when I will call around trying to get my medication that people have Mounjaro but don't have Zepbound. Is it okay to take that medication away from a diabetic who may have more severe consequences than myself? I do worry about myself and my health, and I certainly don't want to get to the point where I become diabetic and have a host of other issues. But they are dealing with that right now, and that the medication was made for them. That is initially what Eli Lilly created this medication for, and weight loss is a side effect. I just go back and forth struggling with that. I have fortunately, up to this point, been able to, for the last few months, find Zepbound by some miracle. But it has crossed my mind to call the doctor and say, I can't find Zepbound anywhere. I have called around every pharmacy around here. Can you just give me a script for Mounjaro just this month or just for a few months until some of this shortage stuff subsides? And I struggle with, is that okay? Is that something that I should be doing? Is that something that's okay? Or is it okay? Or am I being selfish, even though I can see how much these GLP-1s have improved my health, that I have lost weight. I am in infinitely better situation with my health, with my energy, with my sleep, my habits, socially. I can't even tell you the ways that this medication has changed my life that I had no idea it would. But coming from both of my grandmothers were diabetic. My aunt died of complications from diabetes. She lost some of her toes because of her diabetes. Is it selfish? Is it selfish for me to go and take Mounjaro from one of these people who could potentially lose a limb? Is that okay? Because, yeah, it's improving my health, and my health is important to my family, and it's important to me. But is it selfish and inconsiderate for me to take that medication away from someone who needs it more immediately for their health? I had talked in the last very briefly about prevention and how I think we need to focus more in this country on prevention than treating these illnesses. So, I look at it from that way. I am preventing myself from getting to the point where I have diabetes or I have another condition that is related to obesity. And I flip-flop back and forth, and I don't know what the right answer is. So if you could let me know, we can talk about it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Please, subscribe. I would love to continue to talk to you, continue to debate. I have other videos on or 2 other videos about issues with support groups, but I would love to hear everyone's feedback on this issue, because I think it's going to come up more and more the longer this shortage goes on. And I think people are kind of hesitant to address that. Thank you. Have a amazing day. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.